Okay, we are live here with Fitz. Fitz? Is that how
Yes,
you say?
hi.
Hi,
Yes, it's
Fitz. Fitz is a in the Middle East. We're not going to say which one for safety reasons. You're an ex-Muslim in the Middle East right now, right?
yes,
Ex-Muslim atheist, and you're 19
yeah,
years old.
yeah.
Yes. So, by the way, guys, if you're a Atheist Republic patron, you could request a discussion with me like this. If you're not a patron, link to our patron in the description. And Fitz, you wanted to talk to me about Islamic scholars, intellectuals, the
Yeah,
people.
and
Yeah, yeah.
the way they view the France problem.
Oh, okay. That got wow. Okay, that got really interesting really
Yeah.
fast. Okay, okay. Tell me, talk to me.
Yeah, so do you know about like Muhammad Hijab and those other and YouTubers who claim that they're very educated in Islam?
Yeah, I thought you were. Yeah, when you said Muhammad Hijab, I was gonna be like, wait, I thought we were talking about intellectuals. What?
Yeah,
Okay.
but he's seen as an intellectual by many Muslims.
Oh God.
So yeah, that's the problem. But anyway, he didn't. I don't think he even mentioned the France problem.
Oh yeah, he hasn't yet, has he? You're
Yeah,
right. Yeah, I've been
which is
waiting.
very weird because he's usually very fast to
Yeah, I
like
think
talk about issues.
Ali Dawa did. Smile to
Ali
Jannah
Dawa,
did.
I don't think anyone sees Ali Dawa as an intellectual.
Yeah. No, I'm just talking about YouTuber. Yeah, even Muslims don't see
Yeah,
him as a no. But, okay. Yeah, but I don't think Ali Dabo ever pretended to be an intellectual. At least he did. At least he
yeah,
did that. He didn't. But Muhammad Hijab does pretend to be an
yeah. He
intellectual,
does.
right?
He's
Um.
he sees
Yeah.
himself as like takabbur. That's haram in Islam, but okay, whatever he wants to do.
Ooh. Okay. Okay. Wow. Okay. I like that Arabic accent. Oh, that's very good. Um, Takabur, right? You said
Yeah,
takabur. Okay, I think in
takabbur.
Persian, I think in Persian it would be takabur. It's the root kabara, right? It's the root three-letter root, right?
Yeah,
Basically the
I
same
think
thing
so.
as in Allahu Akbar when you say Akbar, the
Oh
God is
yeah, yeah.
greater. So takabur means like seeing yourself as great, right?
As greater, yeah,
This is by the way, this is
than
the first
others.
time I'm hearing the word takabur. I just noticed it has the same root words as akbar in Allahu Akbar. That's why I thought like
Oh yeah,
that's that's why I just noticed. I just figured it out what it means without because of the sharing of the roots. So,
yeah,
but I assume it probably means seeing yourself as too great, right? Is that the
yeah.
fair
That's
assumption?
the
Yeah.
that's a, yeah.
Oh, here, look at this. We have Fatima here, another ex-Muslim, Fatima. Afshin here, another ex-Muslim. Muhammad Omer, I'm going to assume another ex-Muslim. Katie is ex-Hindu. Atheist King, I think, is ex-Muslim as well. No, we have ex-Hindus and ex-Muslims here in the live chat. So,
Cool.
Smile to Jannah. But oh, another channel, something Dean. They had a
Yeah.
video on
Oh,
it.
I saw a video of Smile to Jannah of
Yeah,
him talking about the France situation.
right.
He sounds like very, very ingenuine about the beheading when he talked about it in one of his France videos.
He sounded genuine or disingenuous.
What's the difference between the two?
Oh, okay. Do you think like he really meant it when he
Oh, no,
condemned?
like he said, he didn't really mean it. He was like, "Oh yeah, the beheading was bad and whatever," but what the teacher did was worse. He literally said
Yeah.
what the teacher did was worse.
Actually, if you notice, he didn't. He had to come back and condemn. Like in his original video, he forgot to even condemn the beheading. That if you notice, the video got paused, and he was like, "Oh, by the way, this is like an added segment that I forgot to add." He
Oh,
said, "Like, yeah,
okay.
obviously the beheading was bad. I condemn it, but." Usually there's a but right after a condemning of
Yeah,
the violence. Yeah, I noticed there's always they never. I've never seen. I maybe they have, but I've never seen them saying, how a couple of Muslims were stabbed in Paris, right?
yeah,
Um, we outright condemn that, right? But
yeah,
I don't notice the Muslims YouTubers come and say, the Muslims who were stabbed, we
yeah,
condemn that, but there's no buts after it, right?
yeah, yeah,
It's just evil, right?
yeah, yeah, exactly.
But when there's an Islamic attack, There's like, of course that's horrible, of course. But like, why is there a but always only after Islamic attacks? But anyways, I just think like there's a double
Because
standard
they
here.
sort of agree with it. They understand it.
I don't think no. I think that's a bit. I don't think. I
Not
think
agree
that's.
with it, but they do understand where they're coming from, like in a way.
Hmm,
Yeah,
I want to be more
that's what I think.
charitable to them. I think no. I don't want to. I don't want to be that. I don't want to think like no. I don't think. I think they don't see it as a big of a problem, right? I think they're
Yeah, yeah,
saying. I don't think they agree with it. I don't think they endorse it. I think that they think that we blow it out of proportion.
yeah.
I think that's what
Okay.
it is. I think they see like compared to the crimes of France and United States and Germany, it's like a drop in the ocean. I think that's how they say it. I want to be charitable to them. I don't want to be just assume that these people are like secretly
Yeah.
pro murder in some way. Yeah. So yeah.
I don't think they're pro murder, but
But-
in a sense, because of Islam, they believe in Islam as a whole, and
mhm.
Islam does justify the killing of atheists and people who leave Islam.
Right.
So,
But hmm.
yeah, if in ultimately they do support it if they had a Muslim country.
Right. I think well
Yeah,
yes, but here's the thing. I don't think they want that.
yeah,
No, what I think I can't. This is what I'm trying to be very charitable to these people. Okay, I
yeah,
think that these Muslims they wish secretly they wish that these teachings were not there in Islam, so that it would be easier
yeah,
for them
yeah.
to promote Islam. Right?
Yeah,
I
that
think
was
they.
me before.
Hmm?
Yeah, that was the same way. Like I wished that there wasn't killings in Islam before I became a
Yes.
Muslim.
I think
Yes,
they
I.
are. No, sorry, your idea was getting cut. I think they defend it, but they secretly find it inconvenient. They say like they keep having to be like, these conditions have to be met for these values, for these things to be like they keep like, oh,
Yeah,
we need to have an Islamic state, we need to have this, we can't do it over here. They keep coming up with very specific conditions where they can do this because they don't not because they're dreaming for a day that they can do it. It's
yeah.
because they don't want to do it. They don't
Okay.
want
Yeah,
this.
yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Hmm.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, I think so. I think they would just secretly wish like, why is this verse here? God damn it! Why do I have to defend this verse? I wish this wasn't here. Yeah,
Yeah,
again, this is why I'm saying like most Muslims are better than Islam. I think.
yeah.
I
But
mean, yeah, go on.
yeah, the
Sorry, I keep
problem
it.
is no, it's okay. The problem is like the people who actually have a say in how Islam is perceived, like Islamic scholars who do agree with killings, and those are the people that a lot of people go to. But in Arabic countries, from my experience, they do agree with all the punishments in Islam. From my friends,
Right,
not
but
yeah, because but
hmm,
people in Europe, Muslims in Europe, Muslims in they don't really agree with it.
right.
They don't really talk about it. So yeah, I think
Here's a
there's a difference between where you're born. Continue.
here's a question though. Among you, the people around you, right?
Yeah.
A lot of them don't know you're an ex-Muslim, right?
Some
Is
of
it
them do, but not a lot. Not a lot of them.
not a lot of them? From
Yeah.
the people who don't know that you're an ex-Muslim, do you know any of them that accepts that believes that the punishment for apostasy should be death?
Yes, I know one of my friends
Mm-hmm.
who doesn't even live where I live anymore. He just lives in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
He's very open-minded in a way. Like when we don't talk about religion, he's open-minded. He like has this. He's very nice. He's very. But when we talk about Islam, it's like his brain turns off.
Okay,
He's
and he
like, yeah,
thinks that
everything in the Islam should be done,
it
100%.
should be done 100%. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Here's an example. Here's a question though. If he finds out that you're an ex-Muslim,
Mm.
would he want you dead?
No, I don't think so. Like it's not to that extreme, but
Mm.
he would like be like I don't know, he wouldn't agree with me, but he wouldn't do anything physically. He just agrees with the punishment overall,
Right. See,
you
that's the
know?
difference. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I maybe I'm naive, and maybe that's what I hope is that.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's different levels. Okay, we
Yeah.
have the level of the Muslims who deny Islamic teachings, and they're like, "Oh, this is not an Islamic teaching. Apostates should not be killed." Right?
Yeah.
Again, as much as I disagree with them, I'm like, actually, this is in your hadith and stuff. At least I appreciate the fact that they are trying. Like, I mean, I wish they more intellectually honest to just abandon Islam, but
Yeah.
the fact that their values they don't want this to be true shows to me that these Muslims are better than Islam. Right? So that's level
Yeah.
one. Right? Those are the most,
The
the
good
Muslims.
Muslims.
Yeah, the Muslims that have the highest values compared to Islam. Okay, even though they're
Yeah.
Muslim, they don't know that they actually disagree with Islam. And then you
Yeah.
have second degree Muslims who are like, okay, yes, you have to kill apostates and stuff like that, but the stars have to align, and
Yeah. Like
everything has to be
extreme
perfect.
conditions.
Is a
Yeah.
very extreme condition. Only then, okay. I
Yeah.
mean, that's still vile. I mean, like you're suggesting that it's okay to kill apostates at some point, right? But
Yeah.
you are so disturbed by this teaching that you discovered that is true that you're trying to make it very difficult to have an environment where this is actually being executed. So that's level 2. Then we have level 3 of the people who say, yeah, no, this is it. This is Islamic. Makes complete sense. Apostates should be killed. Obviously, Islam all the way. No ifs or buts about it, right? But then
Yeah.
you ask them, well, I'm your friend. I'm an ex-Muslim. Would you want to kill me? They're like, no, I want. I don't want to kill you. I like you. Right? They're like, but I'm an ex-Muslim, and you said Islam all the way. So here's a sword. Are you gonna cut my head off? Like, no. What the hell? Like, they don't want to do it. Like, no. And like, do you want to see me dead by somebody? And like, no. I like you. I don't want to kill you. Right? I don't want anybody to kill you. Even though they just said Islam all the way. All of a sudden, when you actually when you confront them
They
about,
still have their hearts.
yes, their humanity. They still have their humanity. So that's one level. The final level is the Muslim who say like, "Oh, I'm an ex-Muslim." He's just like, screw Islam, and then he will just grab the sword and chop your head off. Okay, that's the final version, right?
Yeah, that's the terrorists.
Yes, yeah, and that's yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the most rare kind, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and I'm gonna say all of these are problematic. Okay, different degrees
Yeah.
of problematic. They're all problematic, obviously,
Yeah.
right?
I
Even the best one that we mentioned, the people that say, okay, this is not even Islamic. No, there's Islam is peaceful. There's no violence in Islam. Blah blah blah. I mean, we can appreciate the fact that this person's values are superior to Islam, but we could also mention that you have no idea what you're talking about,
Yeah.
right?
And they also take the blame out of terrorists because they're saying it's not Islam, even though the root cause is still Islam. So they
Yes.
stop us from criticizing the very thing they're using.
Yes, exactly. They're giving
Yeah.
they're unknowingly giving legitimacy to an idea,
Exactly. Yeah.
to an ideology that causes problems. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, again, they're not blameless, but they are blame. We could blame them for something a lot milder than you are causing violence, right? You could like you're
Yeah.
unknowingly legitimizing an oppressive system that is hurting a
Yeah.
lot of people. And unknowingly is the key phrase, the key term here. Unknowingly,
Yeah.
guys. Yeah. I mean, you should know better, but
And
you go.
and what do you think about the France situation? Like, do you agree with what France is doing 100%, or
No,
do you not see it as the best approach?
I will. No, it is the best approach compared to everyone else. It
Yeah.
is the best approach. It is the best approach so far, but I don't agree with anybody 100%, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if I would be worried if I agreed with anything 100%. I think I would be like, what the hell? How could I agree with this 100%? Like, am I becoming like, is this like dogmatic in my views, right?
Oh yeah.
So, no, but but based on every single country, France is right now, I think in the past couple of days, I think Macron has been doing the best. Again, there are issues, obviously. There will always be issues. But again, I can't be too nitpicky right now, given the what everyone else is saying and doing. I mean, is I'm actually there are things that I could be upset about go both ways, right? So, for example, Macron suggesting that this is not Islam,
Yeah.
that pisses me off, right? But again, what
Okay.
do I expect? Like, do you want me to, should I, as an anti-Islam activist, expect Macron to come and say, yeah, Islam is pure, like all of Islam is like violent? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
Macron, I mean, that would be too much of me to expect from a leader of a free country to say. I mean, I would say that, but that would be too much for him to say, I guess. So that's on one side. I think that is something I hear that I don't like. On the other side, one thing I don't like right now happening in France is that I don't know what happened exactly. Are they going like first? They're shutting down mosques left and right. I
Oh,
mean
they
that's
are?
I'm not sure if it's. I'm gonna do more research. I mean, if it's for an investigation period, I think it's fair. But
Yeah.
if it's just collective punishment, there's a difference between shutting down mosques for investigating them, or shutting them down as a way to collectively punish them. I don't know which one of these is happening right now. And if it's collective punishment, I'm gonna be like, okay, this is like you're going too far. And
Yeah, I don't
I
agree with
also,
that.
yeah, I don't agree with that either. I also saw some people are mentioning about questioning how much did Macron mention something about halal meat? I don't. I saw that some people kept on saying. I didn't look into it right now. Like, are they
Yeah,
going
me
after
too.
halal meat because of this? I don't know. Is this like a thing? Or these
It's became
Islamic?
more of a, if this
Yeah.
is what's happening, then it's becoming more of a personal attack to Muslims than an actual tackling the problem, which is extremism.
Yes, this is like okay. So it wasn't Macron. Who was this? Who was it? Was hold on. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. So who's this? Minister of Interior. Okay. So apparently this is kind of yeah. This is French minister comments on separation law sparks backlash. Oh yeah. This is yesterday. After linking halal food in supermarkets to Islamic separatism, the Minister of Interior wants a fine of 75,000 euros and up to 5 years in jail for any person who refuses a doctor of the opposite sex. This administration needs a set of straitjackets. Okay, I don't know what's happening. This is kind of crazy. In an interview with BFM TV after teacher Samuel Paty was killed, he said he was shocked to see halal and kosher food aisles in supermarkets, which he believed contributed to separatism. I can't say this word.
Separatism?
Separatism. Tongue twister for me. I don't know why. In France, comments that were instantly mocked on social media. Um, yeah, and this is the interior minister. That's kind of like yeah, that's kind of over the top. I think. I don't know. Let's see what do you think about these comments? That's kind of like
I do understand where France is coming from. Like, I don't agree with actually attacking Muslims who have nothing to do with the extremist problem.
right.
But Muslims, a lot of Muslims did destroy the value and the culture of France, which is freedom and like those kinds of values. Like, you know, I don't see any Westerners going to the Middle East, for example, and trying to change the way that they live their life. Even
They should.
Westerners, when they visit, they
Wait, they
should, but
should.
they still respect it. They still respect
No,
it.
they shouldn't respect it. What do you mean? I'm no. I
I
don't know
don't
if
think they should
I don't
respect
know.
it. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if Westerners should need to do that. I'm doing. I am trying to change the values in Middle East. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, but Muslims
yeah.
are very hypocritical because they go to countries they dream of going to, like they dream of leaving their Muslim countries to go to
Mhm.
France, to go to Germany and wherever, and then they end up
Right.
ruining the place that they dream of going to with their values
Yeah, but
because their
I think
values destroy the
mhm.
Western values.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
However, I think that it will be worse if you try to. I think if you go and tell them like, "Oh, you want halal food?" So you can't have halal food.
No,
I
that's all.
mean,
Like they should have controlled it from the beginning, the Muslim problem, because they're just because I don't know, in a way that they if Muslims get too like their opinions get too out of hand and they start acting on it, then I don't
so
know how to explain it, but yeah,
how do you suggest you control for that? What would you
like
do if you were?
I don't know where the terrorists are coming from, honestly. Like France, how did all these Muslims come into France? Like it became a lot of Muslims
Well,
that entered France.
there was multiple waves. The most recent one was from the Syrian refugees and all that, but there
Oh,
are
okay.
waves before that and there's waves after that. Um, I mean, it's much more difficult for Europe to control its migration compared to United States and Canada. United States and Canada have the luxury of having an ocean between them and Middle Eastern
Yeah.
countries. Um, so yeah, but so you don't have a solution like to this? Like if you have like a um so
The
you're saying like
solution to everything is not to have any Arabs or Muslims come into your country because they're the ones
you
causing all the problems. But
no,
like not in a racist way, but like in a
but that would be a racist way.
yeah, it
Arabs, you
is a
said
racist way.
Arabs.
Yeah, because a majority of problems today are from Muslims. Like there's a lot of Islamic problems today.
Okay, so
Not Arabs, as in Muslims.
Muslims, okay, because you said
Yeah.
Arabs. The person that did the Samuel Paty, that was he was from Chechnya, so he wasn't an Arab, right? So when
Yeah.
you say Muslims, you're saying that they should have a religion check for their migration policy. Wouldn't that be anti-secular?
No, that's very no. Actually, that's not a solution at all. Never mind.
Yeah, I think it should be a value check rather than a religion check.
Yeah.
I think I think it should be, and again, people say like, well, they can lie. There are ways that you could control. You could say, first of all, you could have many different screening criteria that will not eliminate but really minimize the quality of the people that you're letting in, right?
Yeah.
You could like filter for certain skill sets and certain education level. Again, we're talking about there's when a lot of people mix these discussions. When you're talking about refugees, the conversation is completely different than when you're talking about migration. I think when it comes to migration, it has to be mostly based on skilled labor and education levels, and also a control for set of values, right? And again, there are ways. I know people can lie, but there are ways that you could still control for that. To be like, you know what, you could be, we're not checking for religion, but we don't accept misogynists, homophobes, transphobes, people that have anti-secular ideas.
Yeah.
Um, if your label is a Muslim, but we can show that you're not a homophobe or a transphobe or a misogynist or you respect secularism, then we don't care about your Christian or Jewish or Muslim label. That criteria you pass,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
That's better. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you could do
It's
then
better
if you
value.
do that, then you're not violating your secular values, but by
Yeah. Yeah.
going and So I think they could do that, and having like education and skill criteria on top of that, that will really minimize who could get it. And then with refugees, that's I think they just need to really again have much harsher screening criteria, and values should be part of it. They shouldn't just be based on, oh, your country's at war, so everybody is welcome, right?
Yeah.
It should be your country as a war. You have to, but we can't. But again, this is not. A lot of people like they saying this is inhumane, and these countries have signed agreements that they should let this many refugees in, this and that, right? But again, you
Yeah.
could still meet whatever number you come up with. You could still meet that with the right people, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
any person that you're not letting in because they didn't meet the criteria based on values, that means that somebody else got in. Do you know what I mean? The
Yeah.
number is going to still be so. If people say like, well, that's refugees, like you have like a humanitarian responsibility, blah 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 blah. I mean, well, if France determines like, okay, we can let this many refugees in. If you don't let anybody somebody in because they couldn't prove that they're not homophobic, that means that somebody else got in because they couldn't get in, right? So nobody on a net basis, you're still being the same level of humanist. You know what I mean? Humanistic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, look at
Yeah.
this.
I agree.
Afshin is also saying, Armin, ask him, wouldn't that also stop people escaping Muslim countries because they are atheists, as it's hard to prove your apostasy, right? Yeah. I think if you have a history of activism, that should be like a really good way to prove. Qasim saying, lots of Muslims will be happy to know Islamic bad orders are being done, but they won't do them. If you ask them, I don't know what to call these paradoxical phenomena. I mean, it's not unique to Muslims though. I think a lot of people have contradictory worldviews that they're holding in their mind. You know what I mean? It's not a very unique thing. Like if you look at liberals, conservatives, Christians, Jews, they're like, "Oh, I believe this," and you're like, "Well, what about this?" They're like, "Yeah, I also believe that." Well, like, well, you this view that you have just contradicts this view that you have, and they're like, "Ah, I don't know, maybe it doesn't," so it doesn't. I don't know. I'm pretty sure me and you, Fitz, also have right now contradictory views that we are not aware of. Somebody might,
Actually, yeah,
yeah, go
maybe,
on.
but I'm just very bad at expressing how my opinions.
You're good. I have completely understood everything you said so far.
Okay, then that's good. That's good to hear.
No, you're
Yeah,
good. And you're only 19, so you're
yeah,
you're amazing. You're better than I was when I was 19.
thanks. And I also wanted to say I watched a Muhammad hijab video,
Mm.
one of his new videos, and he said that Elon Musk wanted to have an interview with him.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
I f-
and he literally put in his description, "Hey Elon Musk, if you want to talk to me, here's my email."
oh my god.
I don't know what's going on with like he's in a different world. I think he's
He
like a literate like I don't know what's going on with him.
yeah, I think he really wants his ego is yeah.
Oh,
I'm
and
pretty
he talked about magic. Elon Musk doing magic, like
e-
magician. I don't know
I think Muhammad Hijab is not really a Muslim because because he doesn't worship Allah. He worships Muhammad Hijab.
himself. Yeah,
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he's a mushrik. Like,
yeah.
uh,
He's another breed of Muslim, honestly. Like I've never seen a Muslim like him. Like he's too egotistical to be one.
yeah. No, yeah. Afshin, by the way, is saying you're doing great to Fitz. He's saying you're doing great. That's what they're
Thank
saying.
you.
Yeah. Um, British Pakistani atheists saying if Muslims in France focus on education and improving their job prospects rather than selling drugs and selling themselves for sex, they will earn more respect in French society. I don't know about the socioeconomic factors right now. I mean, I've been to France 3 times, and every time I went there, it was changing. It changed so much, and I know that there is. I don't know what. So I don't know if what you're saying is true, British Pakistani atheists. I just know the situation is very segregated, and their neighborhoods is way worse than other neighborhoods, and the situation is bad. What is it? What are the factors that have led to it, other than Islam? What are the socioeconomic factors? I do not know, so I'm not going to be able to answer that. Um, by the way, Fitz, what do you think about actual Islamic intellectuals? Not like these, not Muhammad Hijab, like the scholars and the people that have spent years and I mean, they have like libraries after I mean, you have the Al Zahra University in Egypt, and you have the Jose Elmiye Qom in Iran, and then you have m- many different designations and years of study, like many scholars in the past 1400 years written on astronomical number of books about everything in Islam,
Yeah.
studying every goddamn dot in it on the Quran and every hadith. They're studying the tafsir, studying like the amount of work that has gone into Islamic
And they
so-called
still can't
scholarship.
reach a conclusive answer on
No,
what a
they
specific verse means.
yeah.
All of the studying for nothing.
Yeah. Yes, yes, yes.
Like
They
they
do
should
not
have
agree.
given up thousands of years ago after they found out that after all more studying than maths, and they still can't
Right.
even reach a conclusive answer.
Yeah, yeah. The more they
But
study it, the more they
yeah,
disagree.
yeah,
Instead of
exactly.
yeah, yeah. It's
That's
interesting
why
because
yeah,
hmm. No,
there's
go
many
ahead.
different sects. Like a lot of people have been separated purely from studying the Quran
Hmm.
and the Hadith.
But do you think like so? Here's what I think. Okay, about those intellectuals, right?
Yeah,
What is interesting to me is that because people say like, is there any intelligent like people like Armin or so and so ex-Muslim, you guys just want to understand like how much work and reason and how much detail, how much intellect has gone into analyzing all of this Islamic philosophy, fiqh, jurisprudence, uh,
yeah,
all of the Arab, the details between Anyways, like there's so much. There's like if you ever go to an Islamic library, you just like and just one of many libraries out there in the world, you just get like overwhelmed with the number of books on every specific topic, right? So it's crazy,
yeah.
and like you
It's
can't.
more of a philosophy. It's not like a logical thing to study. It's just a life philosophy. So I don't know why people
But
are studying it so deeply.
they use philosophy that they borrowed from like Greek
Yeah,
philosophers and Christian philosophers. They do. There's a lot of influence from other non-Islamic thinkers in their work, right?
yeah,
And to be fair, they do credit them too, right? But the interest and if here's the thing, okay, I think there is a lot of intellect behind creating that world, okay, and here's
yeah,
even though the entire thing is crazy, right?
yes,
um and this is and people like how could that's a contradiction because how could you say that there is the world that they built, it seems very very nuanced, very very I don't say intelligent, there's a lot of reasoning that goes behind their explanations that makes it's consistent. It's internally consistent, okay?
okay,
Even though the entire thing is crazy. And here's how I explain it, right? Imagine the Star Wars universe, right?
okay.
Or World of Warcraft. Did you ever play World of Warcraft?
No,
Okay. Are you a Harry Potter fan, Star Wars fan, World of Warcraft
no,
fan,
I
any
don't
of
like
these?
fictional stories, any fictional
Oh,
stories.
damn, it's not gonna work then. Wow, you're such a realist. Okay.
But I do
So,
like, no, if you can use the example, then I'll try to understand it because I do have like, I used to watch it as a kid, but I don't know if I remember it.
Game of Thrones, not either? No? Okay.
First
Um,
season.
the first season. Oh wow. Okay, this is truly heresy. I'm gonna kick you out right now. Okay,
No.
so yeah, so let's imagine Harry Potter, the world, Harry Potter world, right?
Okay.
The way not just the author, not just J.K. Rowling, but all the people who write fan fiction, right? The world has been constructed is a work of genius, right?
Yeah.
And the level of detail that goes into making that universe make sense and for the laws within
Okay.
it to be internally consistent takes a lot of imagination and a lot of intellect and a lot of reasoning and a lot of work, right?
Yeah.
For like if imagine if somebody, and the example I give is like imagine like some people who are writing some fan fiction based on in Harry Potter, like they're having like a serious meeting and they're writing together and they're working on this next scene, and they're like they're having a serious argument, right? And they're like, because one of the authors wrote that this wizard just came and he used his wand and cast a spell, but some other people are arguing, for example, that doesn't make any sense because this wand doesn't have dragon tears in it, and you cannot cast that spell without dragon tears inside your wand, right? Or something like
Yeah.
that, okay? And they're having this discussion about this, but then all of a sudden another author person came and like, hey, my wizard just like pulled out a lightsaber, right? And like they're gonna kick you out right away because that doesn't make any sense. That's from another universe, right?
Yeah.
You're a joke to them, right? And that's what,
Yeah.
by the way, that's what Muslim reformists sound to mainstream Muslims, right?
Yeah, that makes a lot of
That,
sense. That's an amazing example.
yeah, that's like pulling out a lightsaber in the Harry Potter world. That's what the
Yeah.
Majid Nawaz of the world are doing. But the thing is that we as atheists could be like, sit back and be like, this entire world is fake. It's not that level of thought. But people who have been doing that and nothing but that
Yeah.
for
They made the
1400
fake a
years.
reality. They made
Yeah.
the fake a reality. Yeah.
But imagine the level, like we're at awe at the level of detail in Star Wars and Harry Potter or stuff like that. But imagine
Yeah.
if these authors had 1400 years to do this, right? And they were doing nothing else but this.
Oh
So
yeah.
of course the level of detail would be extremely high. But the trick is then then the Muslims will come and say like, hey, this must all be real because look at how much thought has went into it, right? And
Yeah.
that's the trick. And like, okay, I mean, I'm impressed with the level of detail and the level of internal consistency within your universe, right? Like it makes internally is logically consistent. You guys have like managed to like better than Christians and Hindus, definitely better than Hindus. You managed to like close as many loopholes as possible, right? There's
Yeah.
still a lot there, but you somehow have managed to make it work, right? Better than Harry. I can find more loopholes in Harry Potter. Like this doesn't make sense. They have come up with answers for everything, right? But
Yeah.
just because you have libraries and libraries and libraries of detail about your universe, that doesn't mean your made up universe is not made up, right?
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
it's
And you
still all
could
made
also
up.
like with pure logic and when without having any feelings attached to the prophet or God, you would be able to see it more clearly. You would be able to
Right.
catch a mistake. Like when I was a, a Muslim, when I was a kid, I wasn't taught about Islam. I wasn't like indoctrinated into it, which I'm thankful for.
Oh,
Because if I was, then I would still be a Muslim, I think. Yeah,
right.
so when I was growing up, I would always hear about people's opinions about Islam after I already had a basic education. And I was about 16 or 17 when I started hearing about what Islam actually is. I just thought it was God loves you and you just be a good person and then you'll go to heaven and ask for forgiveness. That's all I knew about Islam.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, and
What?
then when I actually started hearing about the details of Islam, I was like, what? This is what this is what people are learning. And then I
Right.
was like, okay, maybe people are just misunderstanding it. So I was able to not attach anything to it because I didn't have this fear of God. I had like this admiration, like a fan,
Mm.
if that makes sense. Yeah, so I was reading it and then I saw like all of these violent verses, all of these contradictions. And I was like, how can people go through this and still justify it?
Hmm.
Because of how many, like, it's just like, it punishes your brain. So I was just like, okay, no, I'm just leaving.
Wow. Wow. Well, most Muslims don't go through it. I think there would be a lot more ex-Muslims if more Muslims actually just picked up the text and read it. Don't you think?
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
think so too. But especially not if they're taught, indoctrinated about hell and heaven from a young age and being
Right.
taught, like, it depends because when you're a kid, you're more likely to believe in stupid things. So
Yes.
if Muslims learn it later in life, then they could
Yeah, but
it's a better chance.
even then, you could maybe reach out because I think like most people want to be. There's this in the I don't know. There's this biological desire to be kind to people,
Yeah.
and having other people be kind to you. So I think like if you could tap into that, even after years of brainwashing, you could still help people. I think. British Pakistani atheist is saying Muslim intellectuals do a far better job defending Islam compared to the Quran and Sunnah, which is complete and utter gobbledygook milk crap. Yes, that's why they don't want you to read the Hadith. Oh my, yeah, that's why like holes in the narrative. You know what I'm talking about, right? They're like, yeah, don't let the guys,
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
let people, don't the scholars, even the scholars are going around and telling people like, don't teach Islam to Muslims, or else they're gonna
Yasir Qadi
lose.
specifically said that too, so
Yes,
that
yes,
because he questioned Islam himself, so he's like, no, don't do the same thing I did. Don't question it
yes.
like I did.
Yeah, they're actively actually saying that if we're honest to Muslims about Islam, they're gonna leave Islam. So maybe like
Yeah,
hide some parts. This is their act, and that part leaked, right? That was not supposed to get out. But now we know what they think. Some of them might be thinking behind that. This is why there's a lot of hadith that never makes it into our. Like I studied Islam in for 12 years in school, right? Elementary
okay.
school, middle school, high
Oh, that sucks.
school, right
From
in
middle
Iran.
school.
Yeah,
Oh,
in
yeah.
Iran, like there was none of this crap that I'm reading was ever in our books. Like if we pick up the Quran and the Hadith, the stuff that I'm seeing there, like even after I left Islam, I didn't know all this crap was in there. Like how do
Yeah,
we go through 12 years of studying Islam without ever noticing that God
yeah.
tells you that you could beat your wife, right? Like we in Iran, everybody, not no sorry, not you could beat your wife, that you have to beat your wife.
Yeah.
Like
People
I
have
mean,
higher moral values than the Quran.
yes, but now okay, now because of internet, most people are figuring this stuff out, right?
Yeah.
But when internet wasn't this accessible, when people weren't sharing as much, I in Iran, like every single household had a Quran, right? Every single household had a Quran.
Decoration.
Yeah, but nobody, nobody other than the top scholars in Qom knew that there's a verse in this book that says you need to beat your wife. Like,
Yeah.
and when I found out when I was still in Iran, when I found it, I was like, when I read it on the groups that we were on online, and I read it, I was like, this cannot be. Obviously, this is not in there. Like, if it was there, we would have known by now how ridiculous these people are. And I just went and picked up a Quran from the shelf, and I went and looked at it, and I was reading the Persian translation because the Quran is in Arabic, and I was reading the Persian. I was like, holy shit. Holy shit, it's right there. It was always here. I picked up a second Quran and a third Quran. I was like, it's still there. It's there. It was always there. And nobody ever told us. It was always there. This has always been there. Like, what the hell? Like, how could they? I was like, how did they manage to hide this from us? Everybody has a Quran, and nobody has actually picked up and read the translation. Like, how is this even possible? Oh my god, this is so.
And
Yeah.
they also say that like don't read the translations because the translations are a wrong translation or whatever,
Yeah,
which is
they don't want
very
us to read
stupid.
the, no, yeah, but they don't want us to read the translations because they're worried about us figuring out how
Yeah.
crappy this is. Oh,
Yeah, and
Muhammad,
also
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, read the comment and I'll talk.
Oh, Muhammad is saying, yes, I just knew there are more than 10 different Qurans a few months ago. I was shocked. They deliberately do not
Yeah,
teach us. Oh yeah, the different variants of the Quran. When I learned about it, I was like, what the fuck? How is it there
yeah,
are different variants of the Quran? But then when you look at the writings of their scholarship, like yeah, they've been talking about this for ages. And like, if they have been talking about this for ages, how come it never trickled down to average Muslims? Because they've been telling us that there's just one book and it's the miracle. And if anybody changes a goddamn dot, the sky will fall. Like this is what I thought. Like I thought like the
yeah,
whole world will end if you just move a dot in the Quran from here and just remove the dot. Everything will end. The whole world will end. And now, like you read the works, are like, oh yeah, different. There's like different variants here, and this word is different over there. And like, you guys knew about this? Like, what the hell? But
yeah.
again, yeah,
Atheists know more about Islam than moderate Muslims do. That's why they leave it because they were moderate Muslims once.
yeah. I remember I was in Vancouver and there was this Christian who was trying to expose Islam, and there was
Yeah.
this. I actually have this on video. There were these Muslims, girls in hijab, and they were debating with this Christian man. And the Christian man was like, "Your prophet had sex with a 9-year-old," and these girls were like, "No, what are you talking about?" They were laughing at, "What are you talking about? You're making this up. This is so stupid. How could you believe that?" And I was like, "Wait, you guys never heard of this?" They're like, "What are you talking about? You guys are so stupid. This is not. I've never heard this ever before. Like, you guys have no idea
I
anything
need the
about Islam."
video for this. I need the
What?
video link. I need the video link for that
Oh yeah.
video. To
Yeah, and I was like, they were so shocked for any. Yeah, I will show you. It's actually you could search for it. It's like Vancouver protest Armin Navabi. Search for that. No, Vancouver. Hold on. Yeah, I'm gonna show you. Vancouver Armin. It's called. No, not that one. There's a. The cover of it is actually crazy. Yeah, I'll send you the link when I get the chance. Nope, I can't find it. God damn it. Yeah, but here, actually, I'm gonna find this right now because if I don't do it right now, I'm gonna forget. 1 second.
Okay.
Yeah. There was, man, I did so much activism. Wow, I've done so much activism. It's so impressive. Oh, here it is. It's called Search for anti-Islam rally in Vancouver. Here I'll share my.
Anti-Islam rally. Okay. Yeah, I got it.
Is this video? Man, I can't believe how many years of activism I have. Yeah, this one. It was right. Yeah, watch this entire video. It's really good.
Yeah, I'll watch it later.
Yeah, okay. This guy got arrested, by the way, after this.
Oh, why?
Wait, what did I do? Oh, there we go.
I don't know.
Okay, let's see what else in the live chat. Okay, British Pakistani atheist saying the biggest difference is the past 10 years, the hadiths have become readily available for public consumptions for the first time ever being published online. This is a reason for more people leaving Islam and also for the increase in Islamic fundamentalists. Yes, and there's another thing, British Pakistani atheists. This is also the reason for why there is an active push by some serious Muslims with a lot of following to throw the hadith under the bus. Right? Have you noticed that? There was a first attempt of pushing for Quranism, and that failed because that is ridiculous, right? So Quranists are the people who say, like, you know what, forget the hadith. We just believe in the Quran and nothing but the Quran. And that makes no sense because everything we know about Islam, almost everything we know about Islam will go out the window if you do that, right? So that failed miserably. Only a fringe, very tiny fringe Muslims are Quranists, right? So now there's a second attempt by some serious channels and serious Muslim scholars, including Mufti Abu Lake, right? And some other people. Hold on, here's another guy. What's his name? I know these. I'm not good with names. But the YouTube channel, The Believer, Mufti Abu Lake, and this other dude, who's his name? With the channel Quran Speak. He has a channel called Quran Speak. He's a scholar. He's also followed. But what they're trying to do now, these so-called scholars, is to be like, we can't know which hadith is real and which hadith is not real. Like, come on, you shouldn't even look at the hadith unless you're a scholar. Let the experts decide. Yeah, oh yeah, of course the monkey stoning hadith. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Of course yes, we know it's in Bukhari. Yes, we know it's Sahih hadith. Yes, we know this hadith has multiple chain of narration. But it's obviously, if it's that ridiculous, there must be. They're throwing away Sahih hadith. They're trying to like even Sahih hadith. Like, oh, do you guys know the chain of narration? Oh, the chain of narration is not good enough. The matan is important and needs to make logical sense. If it needs to also be like for 1400 years, no, for 1500, no, wait, for 1200 years they've been telling us Sahih hadith is just like it's it, right? But now they're telling us that, you know what? Only us scholars will be able to not only analyze the isnad, but also the matan, and also check it if it agrees with the Quran, and also even if it agrees with the Quran, we have to analyze it if it makes logical sense. So being Sahih hadith is not good enough anymore. Okay, come on, guys. The hadith is embarrassing them so much that they're coming with standards to figure out which hadith is true that nobody gets except them. But basically, the standards are so arbitrary that at the end of the day, they're like, oh well, yeah, you have to let us do it, right? And they're basically trying to create skepticism over every single hadith because they know that the hadith is indefensible. So they're just basically trying to do a magic trick by endorsing. Yeah, they're trying to endorse hadith by saying yes, obviously hadith is important, but the Quran is the only way for us to know something for sure. And because the Quran is the only way something for sure, there's no hadith that we could ever guarantee as correct. And because of what they don't understand is by introducing this new standard, then every hadith is questionable. And if every hadith is questionable, because now everybody can use their own logic to say, well, this hadith makes sense, this hadith doesn't make sense. So the standards becomes so arbitrary that all of Islam becomes questionable now. You know what I mean? Because 90% of Islamic rulings come from the hadith, not the Quran. And by them trying to make the hadith less important than it has ever been, what they're doing is they're they're basically reducing the strength of everything Islamic. And this is why a lot of mainstream Muslims are actually worried about this movement. They're like, what are you guys doing? You're basically shaking all the fundamentals of Islam. And they try to say like, no, we're not doing that because hadith is not how you know sunnah. Okay? Hadith helps with sunnah, but sunnah is just something that gets practiced from one generation to another, and that is a more reliable way. These things will not, we know that, oh yeah, don't worry, because how to pray, how to do zakat, how to do hajj, how to do almost anything comes from the hadith, not the Quran, right? And people are like, guys, if you want to question the hadith, almost everything we know about Islam is like 4 of the 5 pillars in Islam comes from the hadith, not the Quran. And all of this could be questioned now. And be like, no, no, don't worry, because the community, it goes everybody prayed this way, so we know praying this way is okay, not because of the hadith, it's because we just always did it this way, and it just goes from one generation to another generation, and that's how we preserve it, right? And if anybody knows anything about history, they know that this is the least reliable way of preserving information. Oh yeah, we're not going to rely. So people are questioning written words. People are like, okay, your written documents, they're not reliable because you took 200 years after Muhammad's death. Nobody wrote this stuff down, so none of this is reliable. And okay, we're gonna forget written stuff, and we're just gonna rely on tradition and oral. An oral tradition.
And
good
Muslims
job, guys.
Still have the nerve to say that it's the most trustworthy source and whatever. It's some scholars, even I don't know if they're scholars, but YouTubers, they say they compare it to knowing that your mother is your own mother.
Oh yeah.
The reliability of the hadith and whatever.
Well, you can never know that actually unless you do a DNA test. What if you were adopted?
We can't do a DNA test on the hadith.
Yeah, actually, okay, fine. Let's go with that example, right? What if I came to you and I told you you're adopted? You're gonna be like, oh, I just know my mom is my mom.
No, I have to actually go even if I do question it, I can have a DNA test with today's
Right. Oh, look at this. This is actually Hussein is summarizing the new movement, okay? The new movement is this. This is the new hadith science, okay? Okay, listen, if it has monkey stoning, it's probably fake. that is that is the best summary of the new hadith science that they're trying to promote. They're like, okay, the the monkey stoning, okay, it's Sahih, it's in Bukhari, but it's so embarrassing. Okay, so let's just say guys. Let's just say that's fake, okay? Because we can't have monkey stoning in Islam, okay? That's basically it. That's how it works now. Oh my god. Yes.
Yeah, and I
Um.
was also watching some Arabic scholars. Arabic scholars, they're actually dumber than the ones who speak in English because they have less logic. They don't even have any grasp of logic.
Wait. Don't say that. Don't generalize. That sounds racist. Don't just. Are you saying
No,
because
no,
they're
because the
Arab? No.
ones that I watched, I'm not saying all of them. I'm saying the ones that I
Okay.
watched.
Okay.
Yeah,
Be
like,
careful. Yeah. Don't
but
don't say general.
they're like very popular,
Mm.
and one of them, for example, has like an argument. He was making a response video to an Arab atheist, and he was saying, for example, the Muslim was saying, the atheist was saying that what happens to the Muslim who has morals? Like, do they go to hell? He was
Mm.
questioning Islam, basically. And then the scholar's response. I want to hear your opinion on the response. His response was, why do you think atheists that have morals go to hell? Because they do these things not for God, but for themselves.
Wow.
Like,
Wow.
what's your take on this?
I mean, that shows how despicable Islam is, right? That you think that
Yeah,
it justifies the burning of people of good people because apparently you can read their minds. Again,
yeah,
this is why I tell people that every time somebody tells you you need to be religious to be moral, tell them to go fuck themselves because the most despicable, immoral, vile views that I've ever seen has been a product of religious dogma, right? The
yeah,
whole idea of people deserving of burning forever merely for not agreeing with a certain book. I mean, how much more sadistic can you get, right? Eternal
yeah,
torture. I mean, I haven't seen, among all ideas that mankind has invented, I think this has been the most sadistic one. The
yeah.
most
And if
sadistic
that's
one.
his logic with this reply, then what he's doing is more selfish because he's not doing it for God, he's doing it to go to heaven.
Right.
So
Oh,
it's
yeah,
very
actually, good point.
selfish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right, actually, good point. I do wanna. Do you wanna add anything else before? Because we don't wanna. I don't wanna go over an hour with this. But unless
No,
you
it's
wanna,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
No.
But let's do this.
Um,
It's fun talking to you. So let me
yeah.
know. Message me if you wanna. There's anything else. I'm glad that you brought me. You mentioned a few things that I didn't look into. I might like. I'm gonna keep an eye on Mohammed Hijab's channel to see if he's gonna do anything about France, and if he does, I'm gonna mention that. You know, yeah, because
Yeah.
usually what I notice is that some channels don't talk about it until they have something happens that gives them a different frame to cover it, right?
Yeah.
So you don't cover it until like there's a backlash on Muslims, and then you cover it because that's the angle that you're playing, right? So
Yeah.
that's sometimes, but hey, these Muslims YouTube channels they got their backlash, but some of them are still not talking about it. Sometimes I
Yeah.
feel like they're just happy that there's a backlash because now they have an excuse to talk about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like at least some of them must be like this. I don't know. I'm not gonna guess it for each one of them because I can't read minds. But given how many of them there are, I bet you at least there's a couple that they see like a crime on Muslims and they're like, yes, yes. Now I have.
I agree.
Oh, like somebody's saying they can't find the video that here, guys. Somebody in the live chat said, Maha saying I can't find the Vancouver video. Please share it here. Okay, fine. I shared it in the live stream. There you go. All right. All right. This is it. Oh, it didn't go on Twitch. Weird. Oh, yeah, it went on Twitch as well. Good. Guys, follow us on Twitch as well. Link in the description. You're welcome, Maha. Anyways, Fitz, don't go anywhere before I'm gonna end this live stream, but I'm gonna guys look at what I have. You know where I get this?
Where?
I get this from a mosque in Israel.
Oh, really?
Yes.
They have mosques
What?
in Israel?
Oh, wait. They have okay, Matt. Let me blow your mind for 1 second, okay? You don't okay. They don't have just mosques in Israel. They have Sharia courts in Israel, in Tel Aviv.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Government funded Sharia courts for Muslims. Government taxpayer funded. Mosques? Are you kidding me? There's mosques everywhere in Tel Aviv. There's so many
Oh, I don't
mosques in
know
Tel
that.
Aviv. Yeah, there's so
New
many mosques in
information.
Tel Aviv. There are so many mosques in Tel Aviv, but they have more than just mosques. They have government funded, taxpayer funded Sharia courts. Every
Nice to know.
Israeli's tax money, a small portion of it goes to Muslims having their own family laws separate from the rest of society. So yeah,
Okay.
this is what they don't tell us in in
In the
Islamic
news?
schools, in the
Yeah.
news, in Islamic, in Iran. Again, my mind would have been blown. Here's another thing. Let me blow your mind in another way. I went to Palestine, right? I
Yeah.
went to Palestine, and I met with atheists in Palestine,
Oh,
right?
yeah, I saw the video with you and genetically modified
My,
skeptic.
but the part that we couldn't show was the atheists that were secretly atheists, right? And they were hijabi atheists because of their family. Hijab is not
Oh,
mandatory in
okay.
Palestine, but she had to wear a
No,
hijab
the
because of her
family.
family. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So we went to a bar with hijabi atheists in Palestine, and we were drinking alcohol while the azan was playing in the background in Palestine.
That's the best
Man, that
thing
was
ever so far.
one epic experience. Okay. Anyways, I'm gonna end this here. Wait, let me just read this last one. Anytime you want to have a discussion, Armin, on you spreading anti-Semitic conspiracy theory of cultural Marxism with my hard evidence, feel free to contact me. I will gladly prove it. You sound like a lunatic, so I'm not gonna waste my time. But okay. All right. Bye, guys.